Every morning, you are gifted something extraordinary, time, but the question is not how much time you have, it is what you do with the time you are given, before the noise of the world enters your mind, before your attention is scattered across tasks and expectations. There is a moment of silence. That silence holds the power to shape your entire day. In these first 10 minutes, you are not reacting, you are creating, you are not chasing, you are aligning. This is not about doing more, this is about doing what matters, consciously, calmly, and with intention. Because if you do not take control of your morning, something else will, and if your mind begins the day in chaos, the rest will follow. So today, I invite you to stop, to breathe, to become aware of this gift called now, and to remember, the way you begin your day is the way you live your life. Let us begin, mindfully, powerfully, and with purpose. Each day begins in silence, and within that silence lies immense potential. The very first moments of the day are sacred. They are untouched by distractions, by external demands, by the noise that inevitably enters as time passes. And yet, most people allow those precious moments to slip by unnoticed, consumed by routine or hurried thoughts. But those who understand the value of these first few minutes, those who choose to approach the beginning of the day with clarity and intention, tap into a source of strength that influences everything that follows. When you wake up, your mind is still in a transition between the subconscious realm of sleep and the conscious awareness of the waking world. This is the moment when your thoughts are most malleable, when your internal environment is most open to direction. It is not about rushing into action, but about establishing a mental posture of awareness. Before movement, there must be stillness. Before action, there must be clarity. By choosing to spend the first 10 minutes of your day in conscious presence, you are not wasting time. You are reclaiming your own energy. You are choosing not to be pulled immediately into the demands of others, not to check your phone, not to let someone else's agenda dictate your inner space. This is where the idea of intention becomes vital. To live with intention is not merely to set goals or plan outcomes. It is to connect with the essence of why you do what you do. It is to awaken with the understanding that your thoughts shape your perception, and your perception becomes your reality. By taking even a few minutes to reflect on how you want to feel, how you want to respond to challenges, how you wish to carry yourself, you are already beginning to move through the day with inner alignment. It is the difference between drifting aimlessly and walking purposefully. You do not need elaborate rituals, you do not need complexity. The mind craves simplicity, the body seeks rhythm, a few breaths taken consciously, a moment of gratitude genuine and silent, a simple sentence repeated with full awareness. Today, I move with strength and calm. These practices do not take much time, but their effects accumulate. The more you return to yourself each morning, the more natural it becomes to maintain that center throughout the day. Life does not often give us control over what happens, but it always gives us control over how we begin. In the monastery, the day does not begin with noise or tasks. It begins with grounding, with breath, with acknowledgement of presence. This is not a performance. This is a return to stillness, to clarity, to intention. And in doing so, the mind becomes clear like still water. When the water is clear, you can see your reflection, you can see the truth. Most people live in turbulence and wonder why they feel lost, but clarity is not found outside. It is cultivated from within, and it begins each morning when you make the decision to guide your mind instead of letting it run wild. Your environment reflects your inner world. When you choose to start your day with chaos, you unconsciously affirm that this is acceptable. When you choose to begin with clarity, with breath, with inner discipline, you remind yourself that you are in command of your energy, and that command becomes confidence. That confidence becomes calm. That calm becomes your presence in every room you enter, in every word you speak, in every action you take. So the first key is simple but powerful. Begin each day with conscious intention, not a list. Not a rush, not noise, but clarity. Sit in silence, breathe with awareness. Ask yourself who you want to be in the world today, not in the future, Not someday, but now, in this moment, in this breath. In this beginning, because how you start is how you build, and how you build is how you live. The body is not separate from the mind, and the mind is not separate from the body. They move together, reflect one another, and influence each other continuously. In the earliest minutes of your day, after you have set your intention, the next essential step is to engage your body. This is not about burning calories or chasing physical perfection. It is about creating momentum from stillness, initiating energy from within, and preparing your system, body, breath, and mind, for the rhythm of the day ahead. Movement is a form of communication, and when you move with purpose, your body begins to send signals to your mind, signals of readiness, of strength, of vitality. When you begin your day with movement, you do more than activate your muscles. You awaken your entire being. The circulation of blood increases, carrying oxygen and life force to all corners of your body. Your breath deepens naturally, pulling in more air, which fuels clarity of thought. Your posture begins to rise, lifting the chest, lengthening the spine, grounding your feet. Each small motion becomes a declaration that you are ready, not only to survive the day but to engage with it fully. This is how warriors begin, not with grand gestures, but with small, intentional actions that prepare the body for focus, the heart for courage, and the mind for discipline. In Shaolin tradition, the day begins not with speech, but with movement. Stretching, breathing, stances, each element is done with mindfulness, because in each motion there is awareness. In each repetition there is presence. This is what separates routine from ritual. A routine is mindless, a ritual is mindful. And your body knows the difference. So when you move with purpose in the morning, you are not just exercising the muscles. You are training the mind to stay here now, alert and responsive. Even 5 to 10 minutes of gentle movement can have a profound impact on the quality of your energy throughout the day. This is why so many people feel tired, distracted, or emotionally off balance. Not because they lack time, but because they lack activation. They allow their body to remain passive while their mind tries to sprint. But that is not balance. That is internal conflict. When the body remains stagnant, the mind feels disconnected. But when the body awakens through motion, the mind follows. It sharpens, it focuses, it aligns. You do not need intense workouts or complex choreography. You need presence. You need breath. You need to feel your body and allow your awareness to drop into the present moment through it. A few stretches, a series of slow, intentional squats, a few deep breaths linked to the movement of your arms. It can be simple, it can be gentle. The key is that it is consistent. The body learns through repetition, and the more you teach it to awaken every morning with purpose, the more it will carry that energy into the hours that follow. Movement is not only physical, it is emotional and mental as well. When you allow your body to express strength and grace in the morning, your internal state mirrors that experience. The tension you release through movement is not only in the muscles, it is in the mind. It is in the heart. We hold on to stress in subtle ways, and unless we allow it to flow out, it becomes stagnation. But motion is medicine. It is the body's way of processing and releasing what is no longer needed. And when you begin your day by creating this flow, you are already stepping into your power. This is why movement in the morning is not just beneficial, it is essential. It grounds you in your physical presence. It reminds you that you are not just a mind chasing after thoughts, but a living being capable of balance, strength, and awareness. It brings your focus away from distraction and into sensation. You begin to feel more awake, more centered, more prepared, not because the world has changed, but because your internal state has shifted. And when your internal world is aligned, you no longer simply react to life. You respond with clarity and intention. The momentum created in the morning does not end there. It flows into your decisions, your posture, your speech. It is not just energy for the body, it is energy for the soul. And this energy is what carries you forward, past resistance, past hesitation, into action. Movement becomes the bridge between intention and execution. You begin with breath, you continue with motion. And you carry this momentum into every challenge and every opportunity the day presents. In a world full of distractions, the rarest skill is focus. It is not that people lack intelligence or motivation. What they lack is the ability to direct their attention to what truly matters and to keep it there. The beginning of the day presents a crucial opportunity to train this focus. When the mind is still uncluttered and the day has not yet demanded your attention, that is the time to anchor your awareness. Because where your attention goes, your energy flows. And the first thing you choose to focus on in the morning sends a signal to your entire system about what is important. Most people wake up and immediately offer their focus to the outside world. Notifications, news, social media, messages. This external input floods the mind before the person has even had a moment to listen to themselves. And so, their focus is scattered before the day even begins. But the mind, like a muscle, can be trained. When you take the time to direct your focus inward before allowing the external world in, you regain control over your mental space. You remind yourself that attention is not something to be given away carelessly. It is something to be guarded, shaped, and used with wisdom. The mind cannot focus on everything. It must choose, and that choice, repeated day after day, becomes a habit. So if you train your mind to focus on gratitude each morning, gratitude becomes part of your default state. If you train it to focus on purpose, clarity becomes your companion. But if you allow it to be hijacked by distraction and noise, then anxiety and confusion will follow. The morning is the best time to decide what quality of thought you want to grow, and to direct your focus accordingly. There are many ways to do this. But the most important thing is that you do it with sincerity. Sit quietly and ask yourself a simple question: what is important today? Not what is urgent, not what others expect, but what truly matters to your growth, your well-being, your values. Write it down. Speak it out loud, visualize it. The method is less important than the intention, because when you begin your day by consciously choosing what to focus on, you create a filter through which the rest of your experiences are interpreted. You gain the ability to say no to what does not serve your purpose, and in that ability, there is great freedom. Focus is not about pushing everything else away. It is about becoming still enough to notice where your mind wants to go, and then gently guiding it back to the present. Again and again, that is the training, not perfection, but presence. You may be tempted by distraction, but the more you return to your chosen focus, the stronger your mental discipline becomes, and this strength does not remain in the morning only. It carries into your work, your relationships, your decisions. Many people think they are tired, but what they are is unfocused. Mental exhaustion often comes not from doing too much, but from trying to do too many things at once, and doing none of them with true presence. But when your attention is unified, your energy is conserved, you begin to experience more depth in everything you do. Conversations become richer, work becomes more meaningful, even moments of rest become more nourishing. All because you trained your mind, first thing in the morning, to focus on one thing fully. This is also the root of inner peace. When your focus is under your command, you are not constantly pulled in 10 directions by things that do not align with your values. You become more aware of your inner state. You notice when tension arises, when the mind starts to wander, and you are able to bring yourself back. This awareness, practiced each morning, becomes a foundation for mindfulness throughout the day. You are not chasing clarity anymore. You are carrying it with you. This is why focus is not just a productivity tool. It is a way of being. It determines how you show up in every moment. It determines whether you are present in your own life or just drifting through it. And the morning is the perfect time to reclaim this presence, because in the stillness of those first few minutes, when the mind is not yet crowded, you can build the habit of clarity. You can make the conscious decision to direct your awareness, and through that decision, you begin to shape not only your day, but your character. The beginning of the day is not only a time to create clarity and energy, it is also a time to protect. The moment you open your eyes, your inner space becomes vulnerable to external influence. Thoughts, emotions, and energies that are not your own begin to knock at the door of your awareness. If you are not conscious, they enter silently and begin to shape your day before you've had a chance to take ownership of it. This is why it is essential to guard the quality of your inner space with the same care that a warrior guards the entrance to a temple. Not out of fear, but out of respect for what resides within your mind is your most valuable asset. It is the lens through which you perceive every experience. If that lens is fogged by comparison, fear, or distraction, first thing in the morning, your entire outlook shifts. But if that lens is kept clean, if your inner space remains anchored, you begin to experience the world not from a place of reactivity, but from a place of strength and calm. The external world will always have its storms, but your inner world can remain still. This stillness is not passive, it is not weakness, it is a source of deep power, cultivated by those who learn to protect their internal environment. Most people unconsciously allow the first few moments of their day to be invaded by noise. They reach for their phone, and with it, they absorb hundreds of pieces of information, images, headlines, notifications, opinions. Without realizing it, they take on emotions that are not theirs, values that are not theirs, and urgency that is not theirs. The morning becomes a battlefield of attention, and before they have even spoken a word to themselves, they are already responding to the world. But there is another way. There is a path that begins not with reaction, but with preservation. It begins with silence, with breath, with boundaries. The most powerful morning routines are not complicated. They are clear, they are intentional, they are designed to protect what matters. A boundary is not a wall, it is a filter. It allows you to choose what enters and what does not. In the early morning, this means making conscious choices about what you allow into your awareness. Instead of scrolling through feeds, you read a page of something that nourishes you. Instead of absorbing noise, you listen to the sound of your breath. Instead of jumping into tasks, you take a moment to feel grounded in your own body and being. These small decisions are acts of self-respect. Protecting your inner space also means choosing your emotional posture. The mind, when untrained, tends to lean toward worry, distraction, and repetition of old patterns. But when you begin your day by taking ownership of your inner atmosphere, through meditation, journaling, visualization, or simply being still, you interrupt those patterns. You tell your mind, I decide the quality of my thoughts today. You tell your emotions, I acknowledge you, but I do not let you take the wheel. This kind of self-leadership begins not in moments of crisis, but in moments of calm. And the morning is the most powerful of these moments. The way you speak to yourself in the first hour of the day becomes the tone of your inner dialogue. If that voice is rushed, critical, or chaotic, it becomes harder to find peace later on. But if that voice is calm, centered, and clear, it becomes your guide. You can choose that voice. You can create it with the words you use, the silence you allow, the intentions you set. Protecting your inner space is not about perfection. It is about priority. It is about deciding that your well-being is important enough to shape the first part of your day around it. There is a reason monasteries begin the day in silence. There is wisdom in waiting before engaging with the world. In that space, you meet yourself before you meet anyone else. You reconnect with who you are when you are not being watched, judged, or pulled in every direction. This reconnection is vital because the world will try to tell you who to be. It will try to fill your space with noise, but if you begin your day by creating a sanctuary within, then you carry that sanctuary with you. Wherever you go, this inner protection does not isolate you. It strengthens you. It gives you the stability to engage with others from a place of wholeness. It allows you to respond instead of react, to listen instead of defend, to observe instead of absorb. And all of that begins with a simple yet profound act, choosing every morning to protect the quality of your inner world before giving your attention to the outer one. When you take control of your morning, you take control of your life. These first 10 minutes are not just a routine, they are a foundation. They set the emotional, mental, and physical tone for everything that follows. By beginning with intention, you remind yourself of your purpose. Through movement, you awaken the energy needed to move through your day with strength. By sharpening your focus, you train your mind to stay aligned with what truly matters. And when you protect your inner space, you choose peace over chaos, clarity over noise. This is not about adding more tasks to your morning. It is about subtracting the unnecessary so you can reconnect with what is essential. In these 10 minutes, you are not preparing just for a single day. You are training a way of being, a way of walking through life with discipline, awareness, and calm power. Every day offers you this opportunity, and it begins the moment you wake up.